Standing up to the narcissist. Oh boy, here we go. Let me give you some insight. Okay, now, the best way to absolutely dominate the narcissist is taking your gray rock all the way to complete irrelevance. See, what you really want to get is that the only power that a narcissist has over another person is the other person's reactivity, your triggers. Fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough, feelings of being stuck, paralyzed, confusion. All the mechanics of Darvo can be boiled down to your triggers, your individual reactions. When you don't have reactions and you do not offer any emotional feedback, the world of the narcissist starts to collapse around them because they constantly need to understand where you stand emotionally. They want to know how you feel. They need it because their own emotional states are going to be based upon yours. Their position, their next maneuver, their next manipulation. Narcissists exist with the highest level of abandonment anxiety, the highest level of fear of being not enough, to the point where their entire reality is dominated by their perceived position in the hierarchy of things. But much like a young baby, the narcissist has a very reflective level of emotionality, the caregiver mechanism. And so they're always dependent on emotional feedback in order to calculate their next maneuver. Their position, where they stand where you stand, in order for them to protect themselves, they need to be in control of the narrative. They need to be in control emotionally of you in order for them to feel secure and safe. That security, that safety goes out the window when you are emotionally free. You see, when they no longer have the ability to impact you emotionally, good or bad, through devaluation or validation, they have no power. None. It's gone. They become a talking windbag. And so having power over them is actually quite easy. You know, they aren't the big bad wolf after all. They're the most afflicted, the most codependent. The weakest of all people are going to be people that are entirely emotionally dependent upon others to experience themselves. And so you forfeit your power with narcissists. That's the only reason they have it. Just like Dracula needs you to let them in. That metaphor of Dracula is a good way to understand the role of the narcissist in your life. And so you have to let them in order for them to gain access to even be in a position to exert any control or influence over you. So it's really about losing your own reactivity that would give you your power back by having really no concern whatsoever about their feelings. Who cares? You need to stop giving a shit about how people feel. People's feelings are not your responsibility. It's theirs. You need to look at your own feelings and experiences and stop having them be based on other people. Your own worthiness, your own being good enough, your fear of abandonment, that is nobody's responsibility but your own. And so you need to start to take ownership over your own autonomy again. And so you need to stop being concerned about being enough for anybody, period. Does that mean that you give up? No. You could actually double down on what you're committed to. You could actually start to have integrity, because you have no integrity as a feeling junkie. Going through life on an emotional roller coaster, not honoring your word or commitments, is the sign of somebody with low character and integrity. So when you're on a yo-yo with the narcissist, notice how you lack any accountability for your own life. Notice how you're blowing in the breeze. Notice how your joy, your happiness seems to be hinging upon somebody else. No, you're responsible for your own satisfaction in your own living of life. Not your parents, not the narcissist, nobody but yourself. And so you need to stop diffusing your own personal accountability and responsibility in life and take your power back. And how you take your power back is that you get off of the yo-yo and roller coaster of asking whether you're enough for anybody else. Who cares? You are not here to fix other people. You're not here to help these victims. You're not here to compensate for somebody's past. You're not here to help heal anybody. You're in no position to do any of that. If you have any emotional attachments to healing people as some prerequisite for your own joy, your own happiness, or a relationship working, it's already over. It's over already. If you're dealing with advanced victimhood, if you're dealing with codependent nonsense, if you're in a back and forth, on again, off again shit show of a relationship, that is the relationship. The illusion of the relationship improving is the false glue that you're holding on to. You are a raccoon stuck because you're holding on to the fool's gold of healing, the fool's gold of security, the fool's gold of escaping your own fear of abandonment. And so you're holding on to a false image of the narcissist. They say that narcissists mirror you. Bullshit. Everybody mirrors. If you are somebody that says, I see the good in people, you're walking around like the kid in The Sixth Sense, and you're making it up in your head. You know, you don't need to sit here and scour somebody with an electron microscope to find an excuse to justify a relationship by seeing the good in them. Even Jeffrey Dahmer smiled at people. You know, psychopaths, narcissists, some of the worst human beings you'll encounter are particularly beguiling and charming people. Sociopaths can be charming people. And so looking for the good in people as a way to attach yourself is going to be what undermines you. And so if you want to have power over narcissists, well, who controls the supply is you. That is their lifeblood. And so they would want you to live in the delusion that you are subordinate to them. But that's when everything breaks down, is when you realize you're not. You see, if you discover a narcissist for who and what they really are, they become very uncomfortable. They cannot coexist with somebody that has gained awareness of the way that they really are. And that's why more self-aware people become targeted by these types of people, because they're unsafe with you. They're safe with people-pleasing, sycophantic people that just want to clock in and clock out, people that have their own emotional needs to attend to, you know, people that are not creative, people that are just sleepwalking through life, are generally not always going to be targeted by these people, but they're just role players. But for those people that find themselves constantly attaching to people like this, if you're interested in having power, you've got to have dominion over your own experience. That is it. You know, stop giving your own mental well-being to anybody. That it's not their responsibility, it's yours. And so when you take responsibility for your own life and own experience of life, that's when you have power. That's when you're going to see their heads spin like a top. That's when they are going to be terrified of you, because they already are. They already are scared of you.